Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Summit for China. We're finally underway with our qualifiers for the last region to get started, Godz, but it's a big one here. China will have 2 teams qualifying and coming to the LAN finals.
Yep.
Going to be tough. Only 8 teams, but probably one of the most even across the pack regions out of them all.
Yeah, you take any region and pick like the top 6 to 8 teams. China is just stacked with talent and a very deep list of teams. So we'll be seeing IG Newbee go head-to-head here in our opening match. And
so looking at the matchup, who do you favor here? Last time these teams faced, it was a 2-0 result. Do you expect it to be similarly one-sided this time around?
I think it was one-sided result, but quite close games. I think game 2 especially, IG looked really solid. So I think IG is a team who can adapt quite well and at least make this maybe a bit closer than what we saw in those odds there. I think it is maybe more of a 50-50 matchup.
Okay, with that said, guys, we're going to hop right in the draft here. Newbee was penalized with 0 reserve time, so they're basically insta-picking, and we are moving quickly as a result. So with that said, Queen of Pain, first overall pick, catching up on the draft. Newbee going to the Spirit Breaker as well as Shadow Fiend. The reply is the first stage Broodmother from Invictus Gaming. So Newbee given a little bit of time to figure out how they want to deal with the old mama in phase 2. Bristleback and Batrider both removed by IG. Batrider generally not a hero most teams are running, but has been a bit popular in China, more popular in China from what I've seen, guys. The only other big team that really comes to mind, of course, is Alliance. Newbee in phase 2. They ban Wyvern and Lion, and then coming into this phase, it will be a 3rd pick Dazzle for Newbee, the reply a Rubik for IG, then an Ember out for Newbee, giving them a bit of clear and control against those Spiderlings later on, and now IG trying to contemplate how do they slow down the Ember Shadow Fiend.
Yeah. My first thoughts when I saw Newbee like first to pick the Spirit Breaker was like, oh, they're blocking it from Luo because it has been one of his most played heroes, but then IG picked the Brood, so I'm like, wait, well, it's,
oh god,
it's like,
what have we done?
It's like, it's not really a block pick when you've got Luo's best hero picked up instead of his 2nd best hero. So for IG, they would not have been bothered at all by the Spirit Breaker, and I think Newbee at the same time likely expecting the Brood to come out. Spirit Breaker, good hero for at least catching and chasing down the Brood with charge whenever you catch a vision of him, and that's also kind of what led into the Batrider ban. The big thing with dealing with Brood is less about having the AoE to clear down Spiderlings and more about being able to catch him, pick him off. Batrider traditionally one of the better Brood counters along with heroes like Storm Spirit as far as finding him in the trees when you've got a gem or detection. You just need that ability to locate him, which is just without having that like like the tree scouting ability, which you now have from an Ember Spirit. It's really hard to bring down a Broodmother.
And of course, Storm back in the day used to be one of the classics, but not many teams want to pick the Storm. Unknown from South America, really the only team that comes to mind is a team that will value the Storm pick. Now, AA will be the grab for IG, so they get a very iconic support duo that we've seen a lot of, I mean, for over a year now. The Rubik Ancient Apparition, making up for the Rubik's low damage output with very high damage output from the AA, but they are a frail pair, and up against the cow could be squishy food.
And Newbee worried about like a big early game push strat, recognizing that IG is somewhat lacking in control and stuns. They ban out DK last, thinking that IG may have put Queen of Pain safe lane, something they can definitely look to do. And you're against an Ember, so you want to have that extra bit of control. Right now, it's just the telekinesis. If you can have a DK with a blink stun initiation, plenty of follow-up damage to burst down Ember Spirit. So I really like the ban from Newbee, and I think it would have been a great hero to round out IG's draft with.
Yeah. Dragon Knight does not really see much play outside of China right now, though. I think a few of the SEA teams will pick it on occasion, but not.
Yeah. No,
it like seems to totally ignored and just not respected at all in the Western scene.
It was like during Nanyang, the China qualifiers, where it was like once, like 50% of the games felt like they had a Dragon Knight, and then you go over to Europe, America, it's once in a blue
What the
moon.
hell is that garbage? We don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah. They play. It's not like I don't want to say they play slower pace, but they play more for the late game. Like they'll have like maybe some aggressive early game plays, but they're always looking to secure up the late game. DK not a hero that does that, and it feels like the Chinese teams, so they get that early game advantage. They always want to
push
and siege towers. Yes, get their opponent stuck in their base, hold up. Then the high ground push often takes some time. They want to get their Aegis and all that. They want to get map control. It's very methodical, but it's very much like if they get the early advantage, they really want to have complete control.
And shockingly, this would never happen in Europe. Darkseer slipping through until the 5th and final pick. Darkseer Ember against this draft feels downright dirty, and especially when you're running a Broodmother, then Ion Shell is just icing on the cake. Now you've also got a Spirit Breaker with Ion Shell. Godz, I'm liking Newbee here, even though they gave away the Brood. I don't care what IG picks. I'm favoring Newbee after this draft.
Okay.
I just this Darkseer and Spiritbreaker dual lane is so scary, and then Ember with Ion Shell is just devastating if executed well.
And normally you see the Wraith King picked up when you have that good secondary carry that can benefit from the lifesteal. It was the Wraith King Shadow Fiend that EG and Secret would pull out a bit during MLG. So I don't feel like the Wraith King was a really like, oh gosh, that pick is going to do a lot this game kind of thing. It's just like it's decent carry, has a pretty strong laning stage.
He can just get kited so easily. Ember can just run circles around him. You surge away. Spiritbreaker just ignores him, runs past him.
He's going to need a lot of items to deal damage this game.
Of course, this is a Broodmother, and she has been known for single-handedly winning games. Luo, definitely one of the more capable Broods in the East, so...
Did they ban Jug, did you see, or was that still available?
I don't think Jug got banned. I know that's something that Rabbit has been playing quite a bit of. I checked some of his recent games.
I really like the Jug. I think Jug's a much better carry for this game. The main thing the Wraith King has is that you've got an extra stun, which right now, it's only telekinesis, so they probably just decided we need more control lockdown to deal with Ember, even Darkseer in lane. It's just not going to be enough if we only have telekinesis. So that's where Wraith King comes in. But it's not exactly an impressive stun. You can easily BKB dodge it, Manta dodge it. It's something that you can't constantly rely on to come out from a Wraith King. But as much, I mean, the Darkseer Ember, that's like a two-hero duo you normally expect to see picked in the first stage. IG's lanes are actually really strong. Like, their laning stage should be better, then their mid-game is going to be much weaker. But if they can get a big enough advantage out of their lanes with the Rubik AA, maybe they can make up for their weak mid-game.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think they have a bad draft. I've seen too many games where like a support wastes a stun or gets slightly out of position. Spiritbreaker charges with an Ion Shell. Two heroes just get... Then one dies. The next one comes in to try and help. He dies. Suddenly your safe lane's in shambles. Then the Ember's free farming. And, it's the disaster scenario at that point. So, well, maybe IG, they'll have the crisp execution needed. They should be able to run the full tri-lane, which is definitely good news against that duo.
Yeah. Almost, I wonder if they're thinking of doing any kind of an aggro tri-lane out of this, like with Rubik AA plus Wraith King, whatever it may be. I mean, Chilling Touch with any Rubik AA plus any carry with some damage outputs / a stun, it works. Even Wraith King, who's not traditionally
just so level dependent though. Like even Wraith King needs his levels. Not to mention the supports here.
I think less so the supports, which is why you do not often see Rubik AA in those aggro tri lanes. But the Wraith King absolutely.
You don't think they're level dependent?
Not in the early. Like they're not heroes that where you. I mean, any hero wants to get levels and get level 6 in.
Well, like I would say a Rubik AA are much more level dependent than say an Earthshaker, for example.
Yes, but you make up for like the fact you're not going to get lots of early levels because you dominate the lane so hard because of how well Rubik AA does in aggro tri lanes.
Let's see if they want to do it. They aren't leaving the Brood at the base, so maybe they are going aggro tri, and Chuan does have the boots picked up. He'll lead the charge. Already a Ward going to scout this out, so Newbee will have great intel and likely know exactly what IG are cooking up for them early on.
Yeah, that's good intel for Newbee to be able to dodge any early aggression. And Boots, Rubik, leading the way with the telekinesis can always cause problems.
So, aggro tri, they're going to run the safe lane Brood, but Newbee already know it, and looks like the Darkseer will just still head top, so they may get a Darkseer versus Brood 1v1 matchup. Then that would leave a tough situation bottom if that's the way they choose to lane it.
Ember, very weak laning hero. Dazzle and then Spiritbreaker. It's not really a great tri lane for Newbee. If they have their pool camp available, they can use it, but right now it's being blocked off, so they'll need to be on point with their sentries to...
You'd much rather have like Ember Dazzle versus a Brood, and then Spiritbreaker Darkseer versus the tri lane, I feel.
For me, this is the ideal laning setup for IG. For Newbee... It's not great. It looks like Ember's actually going to swing towards top lane to
I think they just dodge here. It seems like the better lane setup.
Yep. No, I think this is the good play from Newbee. Despite Darkseer doing fine, it's not about how Darkseer does against Brood. It's about how Ember does against the tri lane.
Exactly.
Ember is the important hero of this game. Darkseer gets levels wherever he goes, even if he gets less farm against the tri lane.
And the cow will join him, so it is going to be a 3v2 showdown. With Chisbuk having the luxury of rotating if he so pleases. 430. Up against Moo mid, he gets the better creep block off the bat. That's going to make life a little tricky early on. And he has gone for the Wraith Band build. You can already see 430. Not going to let him walk up and get easy CS.
This is not a build you'd normally see when you've got a a tough matchup in the lane because you want to get the fast bottle. So you can just get the fast bottle. You've got the regen there. So Moo will be put under a lot of pressure by 430.
Godz, this is a variant we did not discuss, which is 2-lane jungling off the bat and Chizbug just soloing versus the tri-lane.
Yeah, you're just kind of sacking. Whoever goes bottom is getting sacked. They're unlikely to get any XP even because of the lane equilibrium right now. So this is actually better for the Darkseer as far as his level and farm goes.
Let's see if they're going to find him. Chuan early on the prowl, but not much he can do to a Darkseer by himself. And doesn't have a ward to block the camp. Can maybe leech a bit of experience, be a pest. And that seems to be the game plan, going for the creep steal there. We'll deny him the early level 2.
And this is good move from IG. You don't need the Rubik at bottom as well. Spirit Breaker's just going to hug his tower if there's 3 heroes bottom, so you're better off in going to mess with the Darkseer, leech a bit of XP, control runes, and just even help out the mid lane.
So, in the end, it looks like they're starving the cow most of all, but hey, if you're going to starve someone on this lineup, I guess him or the Dazzle would be one of the ideal two. So, your Ember Spirit actually doing quite well. Feels like Hal's having a good time. Moo in the mid lane, definitely struggling due to that poor creep block early on, as well as just great harassment from 430.
He's brought out Tangos now as well, so he's bought a lot of regen.
430. Taking a bit of punishment here. Maybe trying to bait as Chuan was looking for the drive-by.
Yeah, he knows Moose has to wait for the Shadow Strike to wear off before he can salve up. And it looks like he won't get the salve cancel and he won't find the kill. So.
But with Chuan leaving, Chizbug sees a little opportunity to give Super a bit of a poke. Has skilled up the charge already, so he baits out the Chilling Touch. We'll back off. Maybe looking for a round 2 here soon. But again, the warding has been great from Newbee. They see the Rubik coming in mid.
Yep.
They know exactly what Chuan's up to.
And their Sentry also dewarded IG's early ward here in the mid lane. So
they might even be able to get it. Uh-oh. He might have managed to sneak around on Moo. Moo has an idea. He's in the neighborhood, but does he know for sure? They now bring in the Darkseer bottom, so they're getting a 2v2 matchup. Moo is the one suffering more than anybody else, and they want to dive him right now. They get the lift off, but instantly the TP comes through from the Dazzle. Chuan's in danger, gets charged. Great counterplay here. Although he will TP away. He'll almost enough for the kill by himself. Banana, love the rotation. Chizbug will hoof it back to the lane. Well, maybe not.
He could have
no hoofing without boots.
Almost could have considered continuing the charge, but Chuan's telekinesis was coming up for a second time soon.
Man, what a start for Hal, though. Granted, some of these are Spiderlings, but still, your leader in terms of net worth in the game.
Yeah.
A Brood versus Ember, to have a little support and be doing this well early on, he's got to be happy.
Yes. That's the one lane Newbee just said, we're gonna make sure we win this one. Doesn't have the pull camp for himself up top, but...
We'll see how long he continues winning this one for, though.
At some point, Darkseer has to be the one you send up against the Brood, but for now, they want to make sure Ember gets the easiest lane for the first 5 minutes of the game.
And he can also wreck the tri-lane. These are going to be underleveled heroes, although right now it's a dual lane, so perhaps that's where we see how just TP bottom around like level 5, 6 or so. Chizbug gets stunned. Rabbit just going to walk away. But yeah, that's the other nice thing. You get your quick level 6 on Ember, and he can really mess things up for IG.
Yes, and yeah, supports like Rubik AA can't really defend themselves against the level 6 Ember, so it will be very tough for IG once Ember hits level 6, and you've got an Iron Shell Ember just jumping in on you. And with Flame Guard, the magic damage, you can't... I mean, you can break it, I guess you've got Chilling Touch, you can throw stuns, but you're basically using your spells to break the Flame Guard and unlikely actually kill off the Ember. You can't burst through Flame Guard plus his actual HP during the stun duration that IG have.
Hal trying to fight these Spiderlings, but they just heal up in the webs and will retreat out. Meanwhile, Chuan making his rotation. Definitely wants to shut down Hal.
Oh, this is a pre-level 6 Ember. And with Flame Guard wearing off, this is a great time to make this move.
He has the chains, but the Spiderlings are here as well. I don't even know if he needed the help from Chuan, but with it, it'll be an easy grab. First blood to Luo. Chuan tries once mid, doesn't work, TP's out, but the second time is the charm.
Yeah, that was just really great time with his rotations. And so far, I think Chuan's played really well. Like the TP out mid when he went a bit too aggressive under the Tower of Moo, that ended up actually being a good trade for IG because you forced a charge towards mid, you forced a Dazzle TP, and now he finds himself finally the kill top with the timing around the Ember's Flame Guard being on cooldown. So really nice plays from Chuan so far.
This is giving a little more space bottom, though. Chizbug will crack level 3 at the same moment. Too late. Up to level 5 in the jungle. Man, he has been very efficient with his farming. Even rotating bottom, still almost level 6 at 5 minutes. It's close to your good Enigma game level of farm. And the charge goes on to Rabbit bottom lane. A bash is there. And with that, Rabbit's down for the count. This duo just so scary.
I guess that's how you beat the offlane trial lane.
You wait for Chuan to get bored and leave, and then you
top.
go kill him.
In trouble again, but
They
there's
have the
dazzle.
Grave available, but he's getting poked down. They may have to use that Grave. No, he'll be allowed to back away. Chuan with a personal smoke wants to get eyes on the Shadow Fiend, the Darkseer, maybe hoping to find a camp, but too late. Moo's already cleaned it up. So Newbee feels like they're very quick to react and adjust to any movements from IG.
And they've got the charge on Luo, so he could be in a lot of trouble here. Sensual at the ready.
And Dust.
Rabbit's
But Rabbit's
here.
in position. Radiant Squad. I don't think they actually saw him. They just saw that he was missing
weird.
bottom.
Maybe he got too close to the creep wave, because the fact they didn't commit to that makes me think they must have seen him. Instead, they're going to actually go and Rabbit himself.
Charging in. He does not turn for the stun. He just keeps on backing off. And now the Ember's going to get in position with the Flame Guard as well. Chains were committed for this. And Rabbit in a lot of danger, immolating to the Ember. Will end up falling. One more poke of that good old Divine Rapier. But while that was happening, 430 with the solo kill mid, the double damage rune of Doom deployed. And Shadow Fiend, just no match for that.
Overall, probably a better trade for IG. Like they get the much more important Shadow Fiend. The Wraith King, yeah, he's kind of your safe lane farmer. I guess he started off in the off lane, but with the supports and ended up top. But a hero who's less farm dependent than someone like a Shadow Fiend. So I think I like IG and their kind of outcome for that one a bit better. But even if the trade slightly favored IG, they're still heading into a very dangerous mid game against Newbee with Ember now level 6.
Ember's level 6. Dust still up on Chizbug. And you mentioned it, Godz. The key to shutting down Brew nowadays is much more about ganking him, not about stopping his lane presence. And they've got an Ember and a Spirit Breaker, two of the better heroes to shut him down in the mid game. They are charging onto super bottom lane. Where's the backup? He's going to need it. Quickly dropping a bash to secure the kill. Chizbug just styling now, and although too late, will tank a stun. Chuan's going to need a lot more follow-up than that. Dropping him back. The tower needs to cooperate here. Fade Bolt coming through, but the heal, the Grave available, and too late might just be able to surge away. Body block, Rabbit. No, you're not going anywhere, buddy. Stay with me. I want to show you a little love. No, he cancels the auto tech, but Chuan will get the last one required to bring him down. Dangerously close to not getting the kill there.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to, like, quote-unquote, leave that for Chuan by any means.
Hao decides he wants to quickly lose all his regen, trying to farm the spider lanes, but he's going back home. And it does feel like this is around that time where you'd like to see the Darkseer head over to top.
Yeah, Hao doesn't want to just have to stay up there, deal with the Brood Spiderlings. At some point, you get big enough Spiderling army, you can just right-click the Ember down rather than have to try and nuke him down through the Flame Guard. So I don't think we see him go top for much longer.
How do you see the overall game plans at this point, Godz? On the side of IG, they just got their Ice Blast. Brood just picked up a Midas. On the side of Newbee, Ember, very highly leveled now. Your Darkseer mech close to completion. What are the respective strategies for each team heading into the mid game?
For IG, they didn't dominate the early game as well as they would have liked to, based on their heroes and draft. And for Newbee, they're going to come online soon. I imagine their plan is to go for the fast mech on. What they're going to get from the Darkseer means the SF can just go for like a Tread, Aquila, tank up as much as possible, and then they're going to try and be super aggressive and just constantly fight. IG just do not have the heroes to fight them. Although they do have the heroes to kill off an SF.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He even drops the Requiem for that, but no chance as Ember engages on mid. Does get the Sleight of Fist. Chains come on 430. The punish almost there. Scream. Blink not ready for 7 seconds. Iron Chill enough to secure the kill, though. He may pay for this on the way out. How he's gone in deep. Is he in too far? Chains in 1 second. That would guarantee at least 1, possibly 2 kills. Doesn't get it up with the charge pile drive. And now the retreat out Chizbug. No, come back here. Where do you think you're going? I want some hamburger.
Why'd you take
His
that?
Majesty is hungry.
This is a ganking Brood. Brood TP'd in from top for this.
And he brought the spider. No, he actually brought the Spiderling army. If you see,
Whoa.
I think he just ran the whole army down the network of webs.
He's made the web from top to bottom. I don't even know if he TP. He probably didn't TP.
No, I don't think he did.
Scurried his way through. This
What
web
is this
network
from Luo?
is insane.
You know, we thought it was pretty next level just to see the likes of XZ and Zai taking over the enemy jungle at the International, but Luo is taking it one step farther. He's just building long, interconnected, intercontinental highways around the Dota map.
And that's the beauty of the new, like, well, they're no longer new, but the web changes where you can now just rack up charges. You can do 4 in a row when you've got the full charges built up, and just makes moving around the map so much easier for this hero. It really fixes some of his old problems that he used to have in the mid game.
And it also says if you actually want to just, hey, team fight, just save up 4 webs and...
Yeah.
All right, you can cover 4 screens of territory, basically.
That was a big commitment. IG come out on top with a 3-for-2 trade there at mid, but that was like all 4 webs. They bring in the Brood. They use the Queen of Pain ultimate. Queen of Pain ultimately goes down.
They've got a charge coming. Sentries are here. 430 trying to retreat through the trees. The charge, quite a ways off, though. They didn't commit chains early here. I guess figuring 430 still going to get away as he continues to burn him down. He's got an idea where he is, but 430. Oh, How. He wants to go deeper for this, but that would be a bit too deep.
That was ballsy from How. Like, a player known for his aggressive, but he used a triple Fire Remnant there without vision.
Yeah, I
didn't
think
even know how low 430 was.
Yeah, I think just assuming there wasn't too much in the way of stick charges, but...
Yeah. Well, it's more like a TP, like from a Rubik lift, and an AA Ice Blast from across the map, and How dies, because he's under the tower without an escape. So that was very dangerous from him. Maybe just getting the info from his team, like, okay, no one can TP, you're actually safe here. And if 430 had been on int treads instead of strength treads, it would have been a kill, so it actually was quite close.
Got the stick off, able to survive as... Newbee are going to settle down to their mid game. The mech complete on too late. Ember Spirit, How? The farm has slowed down a lot, Godz. He spent a lot of time ganking, only 62 CS. Way behind his own Shadow Fiend. As Moo, let's see, what's the build going to be? Up to 1,400 gold, yet to show anything as far as his first big item.
Yeah, with 1,400, straight Yules. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for Yules. Picks up a Void Stone, as well as the rest of his Aquila. And the Yules will be a nice way to catch out the Brood as well, so you get some extra pick-off potential coming out from your lineup. Not that you need it necessarily. You've got Ember and Spirit Breaker already, but I like the Yules pickup. And also, it's you expect 430 to go for the Orchid this game. Against Ember, you're almost always going to see the Orchid Queen of Pain, and that's where Yules also will help you out.
Unless the vaunted Blade Mail Queen of Pain is in the cards, but at this point, though they don't see it, he's got a second rope of the Magi.
That's an odd Observer Wood spot for the Radiant team to use.
Oh, for the Radiant. Huh.
Yeah, I saw the Woodgate plan. I don't know if he meant to sentry it.
Well, there used to be a Darkseer top. Just caught the corpse sinking into the ground there as IG combined in numbers. They'll get the kill. They knock back off for a second Midas for Rabid. So IG going for the double Midas here, and no rush to try and close out the game.
Oh, they're playing farm mode. The mid game is where they stay away from the Newbee aggression, go for probably double Midas with AA also getting a Midas this game, and just avoid fights. They're going to try and counterplay. Like if they see Newbee go for a big commitment, they can look to TP in and fight it. And that's going to be the big objective as far as they're concerned. Outside of that, Luo's just going to keep trying to create space.
God, How wants these Spiderlings, and he wants them bad Sleight of Fist through. He's going to have to Remnant away soon, though. He gets nearly all of them, actually. Luo without his army, not nearly as scary. He's lost the webs, has one more available. Gonna let it fly. Now out of mana, the charge comes in, though. They've got Dust online. TPs could be used. Chains are there. Now they're straight back. They get the kill. Rabbit TPing, but way too late to engage, and if he throws out a stun, he won't have mana for his ultimate. Means Rabbit's gonna have to sit back and watch his poor Spiderling have its legs ripped off.
A bit too aggressive coming out from Luo there. Not quite respecting the Spirit Breaker charge, which you've seen catch him out a few times now.
How just sees Spiderlings, and for a lot of heroes, they're like, all right, I gotta run. He's like, great, I can farm now.
Yeah.
An aggression on this fella. Bug's committing for 430. There's a double damager in top. He needs a bash here. Maybe not. The chains from How. The two hunters combine, and yet again a kill secured. As Rubik, while that was happening, Chuan did manage to steal a level 2 surge.
And that was the kind of gank that you see coming from a mile away. He knew the charge was coming bottom lane. Spirit Breaker has just been there. I think even charged mid in plain sight, but just not respecting the Ember's catch potential. So Queen of Pain does end up going down there, just getting a bit too greedy going for the tier 1 tower.
Looks like it will be the Yules build. I'm actually curious. When is the last time a Shadow Fiend has built a Yules? Because I feel like I haven't seen this since, God, 6.83?
I've seen a few here and there, but it's like 1 in 20, 1 in 30 games where you see the Yules build nowadays. This used to be
This
the
is
build.
like your DAC era Shadow Fiend. And it was every game for a while. The Chinese teams had been building mech, and then they saw how well... I think it was when Sumail debuted.
Yes.
And then they all started building Yules, but then everyone stopped when it got nerfed.
Yeah.
But it's back, or so it appears.
I think Sumail and Arteezy were very much like doing it every game. I think it was the best build, and over time it was like, okay, maybe not every game requires it. Then it sort of became like a 50-50 thing between the Yules build and the like mech BKB build. And now we're seeing very much the focus on the more tanky build coming out from like the Mech, BKB, Skadi, etc.
IG are going to make a commitment here to the Roshan. But at that moment, Newbee, raiding party, smoking, rotating through their own jungle. Looks like they want to find the Broodmother, perhaps. Protecting Hao, who's expecting to get ganked, but little do they know, IG, they've got something bigger planned, and it's already too late. Roche will fall. The early medallion grab from Luo. The payment, they pinged it out. But Newbee won't have time to engage, and now Luo marches forward up onto the high ground, bringing the whole swarm with him. Wants to fight. Not sure this is one Newbee want to take.
I think quickly realize that, well, IG, Luo at least, realized running onto the high ground, maybe not the best idea for himself. One of the issues Newbee kind of have is they don't have the best hero to like pick up an early gem on. They could put on someone like Chizbug, but he's always diving in, getting very aggressive, and likely to lose it. They just don't have that hero who can carry the gem and not die, and who's also going to be able to gank the Brood. Like a Darkseer could probably hold the gem okay, but he's maybe spending more time farming, pushing out the lane, so they're going to be forced to just use Sentries and Dust for the time being, I imagine.
Probably Spiritbreaker, once he gets a BKB, could do it, but
yeah.
That's a long ways off for Chizbug.
He needs a lot more in the way of items here, and that's just giving IG time to just farm using their Midases. They've now got their second one online with Super curing his out.
Oh,
so
that's actually the triple.
Oh wow, triple! Yeah, with the Brood, that is 3 Midases.
The third Midas now complete as Super. Looks like they will be fully committing to the long game here. IG triple Midas. All these heroes benefit from it quite a lot. In fairness to them.
It doesn't even feel too greedy because Brood is just so good at creating space and buying time for them. And all these heroes they're getting Midas on are pretty standard heroes who can benefit a lot from the extra farm in the case of the AA, and for heroes like Wraith King, desperately wants and needs the level.
And frankly, they need the Midases to keep up with a Shadow Fiend, Darkseer, Ember. These are just 3 farm lords.
So we'll go into the late. I mean, this feels like a game that will go into the late game. Neither team really able to push and force the issue. We still see tier 1 towers up on the map, not something that's going to change soon. The one team who could try and push their advantage would be Newbee. They're fighting into a 3 Midas lineup, but they have Aegis now on the dire side, and Newbee not the best at just 5-man sieging, taking towers. They're much more about these scrappy fights, trying to just brawl using the Iron Shell on the Ember Spirit, but IG they're playing keep away and so far being successful.
And IG now get their first big item for Rabbit. Grabs his Blink Dagger.
Yeah,
crucial source of initiation for a team that heretofore has had very little.
This is possibly a good IG timing window. They've got the Blink Wraith King and Queen of Pain's Orchid just complete, so they can actually use this to punish Hao in the bottom lane when he's getting too aggressive with his farm.
Looks like they may want to smoke on the back of this. 3 heroes congregating. Joining them will be 430. It's the 4-hero smoke around.
Yeah.
Who do they find? Tule, believe he just showed himself mid, but IG are swinging on towards bottom, and as we all know how, he's never seen a fight he wants to back off from. Let's see if this is one.
And more importantly, has he seen the Orchid yet?
Luo getting closer. Spiderling's trailing after, and now the Orchid reveal. They're going to miss on the Queen of Pain Scream. Is that enough to allow Hao to get away? No, sirree. Not with the crit from Rabbit. Quickly slapping him down. So they will grab the kill. Bought his Yasha right before dying, so he is not going straight Battle Fury. It will be the Manta first.
Yep. So the Orchid, looking to just counter the Orchid, and knowing this is going to the late game, I guess for him it's like, okay, we're going late game, we're going to get a farming aim like a Battle Fury, but they'll just keep on picking you off. You want to be able to farm in lanes by yourself and not be able to get caught. You can Manta dodge the Blink stun initiation from Wraith King, you can Manta get out of the Orchid, so it just allows Hao to be much greedier with his farm, and will actually be a better farming item than Battle Fury because of that.
They're going to see 430 here. Charge goes onto the Queen of Pain, who initiates. Does not have mana for the ultimate right now. 430, though, popping the stick. Now he's got it. Not sure if he even needs it. Tule's going to drop. Courier also hunted, and that was carrying the Guardian Greaves recipe for Tule. Pretty big snipe. And now Banana could be next. Has no grave, has a single heal. They're going to need some great raises from Moo. Pops the Aegis still. Round 2 comes now. No grave in sight, just a single solitary heal. Won't be enough as Chizbug decides this is my time to charge in, but suddenly he's on an island. That was ill-advised. He'll be the 3rd man down. And Newbee forced to tuck tail and run.
Yeah, it looks like I mean, it was kind of a silly charge, but that was him just throwing his body to save Moo on the Shadow Fiend. Moo doesn't have BKB, doesn't have Blink. Didn't actually have an escape. If Queen of Pain blinked onto SF and had follow-up, it would have been a dead SF. So throws away his life to make sure SF gets out. It's hard to say whether they would have for sure killed him or not, so I think it was maybe just a safe play to make, but great sequence of events for IG, who get a couple more kills. They're getting some decent map control, and I think IG is in a position where they can go for an early gem if they really want to try and starve out Newbee.
Haven't felt the presence of the Shadow Fiend this game. 10k net worth, has the Yules, yet to get a kill with it. Now completes the Sanjin Yasha. He is farming, that's for damn sure, but yet to really exert his influence on the map.
Yeah, it's been just the farm coming SS way. And Yules is a good farming item, which is where you often saw the old, like, Arteezy, Sumail, SFs go for the item, because you find the pickoffs and you farm fantastic with all the mana regen you get from the item.
Smoke from Newbee. They actually just avoided being scouted by these spiderlings.
I know the Aegis
Close
is worn
call,
off, too.
but if they only find Luo, that would be unfortunate. He's scrambling around. Looks like even Luo won't get scouted. He buys his BKB. He was up on the cliff near the Roach Pit, and now they move deeper. 430, maybe about to get caught. Newbee prep in position. Very close to getting caught by this Yule Scepter. And they blink and rabbit right in the nick of time. Oh, hey, suddenly 4 heroes diving at my tower. What's going on? But there's no follow-up whatsoever. The Wraith King not the target they were looking for. So the Ice Blast gets chucked in, and the Smoke Gank is a swing and a miss.
I think the rest of Newbee is just like, okay, you can charge him, but we're not following up when he's got Reincarnation. That's a quick way to lose a team fight there if you're Newbee.
They charge on Super, but already also too late. IG just demonstrating good warding and map control and good game sense as they dodge gank after gank from Newbee.
Yeah, I think IG are just going to keep playing this pace of game. Like, they get a slight early game advantage, but don't have the heroes to keep on really fighting or splitting up too much, so they'll play the farm game, they'll wait for the next Roshan, try and maybe get a pick-off hero there when possible, using the Quap Orchid especially. Although, and that's where Darks is actually forced to 5-man. He hasn't got his Greaves yet. SF, still no BKB. Ember, still no Manta. So a lot of these heroes have to play very cautiously. Oh, 430, coming close to getting the kill at top on Ember.
Jumps out just in the nick of time and is very near to the Manta, but man, having to go Manta first really slows down your farm progression as an Ember.
Yeah, it definitely. Oh, it's the worst farming item, but because you don't get ganked, he's gonna ultimately farm better with it than the Battle Fury.
Yeah, it's just great when you're not in an Orchid game and you could just skip it. No such luck for How, and with all the gank he needed early with mixed results, does not have the farm.
Got Vision of Luo here
to rush it, and now they get eyes on How. They're gonna jump in with Luo, but he's also being charged as you mentioned, and a gigantic Slate of Fizz comes out. Slaughtering a lot of creeps. They'll Nether Strike Luo. Oh, no, actually hit a creep. Chizzbug, that's not the target you were looking for. They're going to engage with the Requiem onto Luo. BKB is worn off, and now they hunt and corral the spider. Will stomp him beneath their boot. Not the ideal fight, but Chizzbug even gets the last hit. Rewarded for his mistakes.
It was a 10-second BKB from Luo used, and he dies there, so as far as Newbee concerned, they're probably looking at that like, oh, that's actually pretty damn nice. Like, we come out on top. We buy some time to get the career back, get our Guardian Greaves onto Tule. SF still wants more farm. We talked about Ember Spirit. He's still not really in fighting shape with just a Manta style. So.
Super quick TP out, but is it quick enough? Doesn't look like it. How slicing him up, and that is pretty much the Manta style. In fact, he's a bit more farmed than I... Oh, no, he just bought the Ultimate Orb as the courier was driving by. So, okay, 600 gold in the bank. And now they're going to grab their first Midas. Newbee, they say 2 can play at the farm game.
That's especially interesting on someone like a Spirit Breaker to get a 24-minute Midas. They're really looking at things as if, okay, we're not ending this game anytime soon. We're also not keeping up in farm on heroes that can benefit from having late-game levels in farm like a Spirit Breaker. So, yeah, they'll play IG's game and look to do it better to beat them.
If he wanted a Midas, he could have gotten it a lot quicker by just spending his reliable or his unreliable gold before he died.
And even going for items like treads and whatnot did suggest that Newbee wanted to fight a lot. This was not the initial plan. If this was your initial plan to do IG's game of Midas Dota, you don't go for your treads, you don't upgrade your wand maybe. Getting like wand and urn and dust, treads, orb of venom, all these little items just means that Midas comes very late. So definitely a response to how well IG have done in the mid game, and
I think a lot of it just comes down to the Roche sneak. Newbee, they went for that big smoke, didn't find anyone. At that point, it's pretty tough to fight IG. Since then, we've seen a little bit more emphasis on the split push, but Ember Spirit getting aggressive. He is harder to kill with the Manta, but certainly not immortal. In fact, how engaging. He'll get caught by the lift. The Ice Blast comes through. Needs to jump away, and he will do so. Very far back. But has to be careful about those situations. They can chain stun him with a lift into a Wraith King stun, into a Cold Feet. You get the Orchid off somewhere along the way, and quite possible they can burst him.
Yeah, that's actually... so telekinesis is 2.25, and the Wraith King stun is, what, 2 seconds? So, yeah, if they do it perfectly, the Cold Feet does land.
And it's a max Cold Feet, and it's 3.5 seconds. Like, that's definitely enough to kill him. But all three have to be there.
Yeah, and you have to, like, not stack at all. But if you get that, that's how you kill the Ember. It's still, like, a lot needs to come together. And that's where it looks like we're headed towards a late game where IG don't have the best lockdown for an Ember, as well as a Shadow Fiend who's getting very farmed. SF now with SMY and BKB. It does, like, looking at the lineups themselves, Newbee, I would say, have the better late game lineup, and IG are going to have to make up for that with just their item choices, having some extra lockdown from items like a Queen of Pain Hex, eventually getting a Wraith King with an Abyssal Blade plus Moonshard type build. They really need to itemize to counter Newbee's draft, because it's Newbee's draft who's just on paper going to be much better. Even looking at the supporting cards, you've got Nether Strike to go through BKB, Vacuum Wall, you've got Dazzle Weave to negate a lot of the physical damage. And heroes like Brood, Co-op just aren't going to be as scary in a late game setting.
The siege commences as Newbee group up, anticipating that next Roshan engagement. They want to go in here. They're going to chain Rampant to start the fight. The Ice Blast comes through. It hits on 2, but there's not much follow-up as 430 gets chain stun, completely locked down and eviscerated by Hal. One more slash of those rapiers to get the kill. And now Luo engages. No buyback on 430. They're still fighting without him. I think Luo may be expecting 430 can rejoin the fight, but he cannot. Ember jumps forward. There's the Sleight of Fist limping away on 8 HP. Won't make it out, and Chizbug rushes in deeper, looking for more. The Wraith King can't hold the line. It's just His Majesty versus the world as Moo cleans house. 4 heroes down. A Wraith King ult expended, and about to be 5. Meet the Reaper Rabbit. It's a full wipe. Newbee slaughtering all in their wake. They will take the tower. They may take the Roche. Or perhaps they even go for Rex. These heroes dead for 25 seconds.
Oh, and that's just the power of the Newbee team fight there in the late game. They didn't even hit amazing ultimates by any means. Like, the Darkseid just used a wall and a BKB Brood to help bring him down, and that was all they needed. Newbee just... they're so tanky
MVP ward
now.
Here. That ward found the Quap.
And that was the biggest part. It was very much positioning and the vision advantage that Newbee had. The ward allowing them to kill Quap. Quap is not meant to die that way before you cast BKB and get no spells off. Brood was coming in, flanking from behind, saying, look, I'll take out the Dazzle, you kind of deal with the rest in some ways, and we'll take this fight. But Newbee just had the vision they needed.
They want to contest the Roche. It seems it may be just a bit too late. Queen of Pain jumps forward, tries to at least steal the last hit, rather, with their ultimate, but good effort from 430. Won't be good enough, and then they grieve, they weave. They get back to full HP.
That's a Sonic Wave on cooldown. If you're a Newbee, you may look to push. There's no Ags.
It's actually not an Ags ult. That's a good point.
That was definitely not a good ultimate coming out from 430. I think that's a 2-minute window where Newbee likely... Often you see the Aegis picked up and then teams wait about 3 minutes before they try and push because they want to get their next couple of items up. They want to just reset, heal up, and just make sure they're all prepared.
It almost feels like maybe 430 is just used to playing with the Ags, because that's definitely a play you make with the Ags, but without it.
That was a bit of a tilt play. Like, you lose a bad fight and then you make a move like that because you feel desperate, even though for IG, like, they're playing for the late game. They've got the triple Midas. Yeah, their late game maybe isn't as good, but as kind of mentioned, they can get items to compensate for that. So now instead of just losing the one fight in Roche, they lose another tier 2 tower. Newbee fall back. It does look like they're not going to go for the high ground push. They're going to just farm the top lane and probably buy a gem fairly soon to get some map control. But this is still a much worse position for IG to be in as a result of that Sonic Wave.
Luo grabbing a Diffusal Blade on Broodmother. There's no... What is this for? That's just the Surge?
Yules? You can purge off the Yules on Moo with the SF, I guess.
But he has BKB now.
Yeah, he also has BKB, so... What, BKB Requiem cannot be stopped?
I guess it's just for the Darkseer, right? Is there...
Darkseer Surge.
Does it remove Flame Guard? I know Yules does. I'm not sure about Diffusal Blade.
It should remove Flame Guard.
Even if it does, is that really the item here? Huh. I'm very curious why he's picking
I'm definitely surprised by it. It's really good on Agi heroes as far as damage goes because it's a lot of agility. Even the level 2 Diffusal gets it up to 35 agility, so it is one of the better heroes to get on Agi carries. and maybe anticipating some Ghost Scepters at some point. Dazzle looks to be going Glimmer Cape though, so...
Definitely an unusual item pickup. We'll have to reserve judgment until we see how it works out. But worth noting that this is not a common build for, well, really any Broodmother player, to be honest.
I guess you can
unless
help
there's
out.
an Omni Knight.
Yeah, you can look to save 430 by purging off stuff like, what, Searing Chains from him? If he's, well, he's got BKB now, so he can BKB out, so it's not... Does not seem like an obvious item to pick up. And hey, Darkseer makes a replicate of you. Now you've got a Brood Illusion with Diffusal on your Wraith King, and there goes his mana. I don't know.
Oh,
that's like worst case scenario with the Diffusal.
Is this the secret Luo 322?
Yeah.
Sabotaging IG right before the major en route to leaving the team in shambles.
Hey, Newbie guys, you want some mana burn?
Luo's ultimate revenge. Gods, it's happening.
So, we'll see. I want to reserve judgment on it. Just it's one of those things where it could just be a nice item because of the agi you get from it. Although if you're looking at it like a agi kind of DPS item, you'd normally go for a butterfly.
It is a little bit cheaper, and maybe feels like he needs every possible scrap of damage for right now.
Yeah, and the important thing you can always do is just purge off dust and stuff as well, which there's no gem yet on the Radiant side. So.
Speaking of the Radiant side, I was going to mention the BKB for Chizbug is very close, and now he's already bought the Ogre Club, has the Mythor Hammer, 900 away from the recipe.
And that's where you buy
They
the gem,
have
I
no
guess.
counterplay to a BKB charge.
Nope.
There's actually no save here for IG.
He'll go launching in. I guess you can try BKB defensively. You still get Netherstruck, but it means you don't die to the Magic Burst that could follow it up.
Yeah, and all the bashes are magic damage as well, so
yeah,
it's a lot of your HP down the drain. But still, in the meanwhile, How is getting his farm, and he's not even close to the most farm. He's worked up to a Battle Fury, and perhaps more importantly, Moo God, M-God.
He skyrocketed.
He's at 18.5k, 312 CS. This is reminiscent of the Newbee or Tonk Fu of old gods, the twin towers, Moo and How, putting the team on their back. Though I wouldn't say that they have entirely this game, but they definitely could moving forward.
You know, Zhao 8 talked about how he wouldn't be rejoining LGD, but he didn't rule rejoining Newbee out of the picture. I feel like if Zhao 8 joined this Newbee team again, they would potentially just be unstoppable. Like
who would you replace? Chizbug?
Either Chizbug or Tule would be the obvious option, I guess. I think Tule's actually, he started off a bit shaky on the team early on, but he's been playing a lot better. It kind of reminds me a bit of Misery with when he first joined Secret, where you join a new team, you're also kind of, I guess Tule's been playing offlane for a bit now, but you're on a roll that, playing offlane on a team where you're not sure exactly what kind of playstyle they're doing, or you're just new and adjusting to a new playstyle can be difficult, so... I mean, Chizbug has been playing so well, though, like, not just looking at this game, but in general. It'd be hard to say who he replaces, but... whoever he adding Zhao 8 to your team is an upgrade, regardless of who he replaces. I don't want to take anything away from these other players, but it's Zhao 8.
Get rid of How, put Zhao 8 in a carry, upgrade, easy.
Maybe not.
After
maybe
that Spectre game,
after
that Spectre game at TI5, maybe it would be.
Oh,
though they did go on to win, thanks to some sensational FY Rubik.
No. Maybe Banana's one you replace. He's definitely been a bit more flat in the support role. Like, as much as he's got the veteran experience.
Wasn't he going to retire? I remember someone telling me Sunshine and Banana said they were both planning to retire after TI5.
Yeah, I remember hearing that too. But
he's
I guess
getting
no one really retires with Dota.
He's tasted the sweet nectar of a championship, you know?
The thing I like about Chizbug being on the team is what Winter talked about, where it's a player who's been on the bench for a while. He was like the IG sub, kind of. And he's probably like so driven just to like win games, especially against IG, the team who had him benched. Like, he hasn't been playing competitive Dota for such a long time, and he probably just has that drive. Like, I want to be at the top again. Like, basically go back to his glory days when he was like one of the best support players in the world. So,
for those who don't remember, he was on the IG bench, and the only time he would play was in WCG, which had a rule that you had to have players who were from China, and Chuan was on the team. And of course, Chuan is a Malaysian citizen, though he plays in China. So that was when Chizbug would come out of the closet and try to show what he could do, dust off the old skills. But they do atrophy when you're not actively playing for that long.
So we'll see how this Newbee team goes from here. It's going to be really great to see them at a big LAN in the near future. We're looking at like the Frankfurt Major, and
We're going to
potentially
see
more.
all of the big Chinese teams as well at Nanyang coming up very soon.
No
so that's
Newbee, unfortunately.
no Newbee, I guess, but pretty much everybody else. Not to say you're not a big team, Newbee, as they're going to take their wrath out on the Wraith King. The ultimate comes out once. It is the level 3 ult, fortunately, as he goes to work on Banana, but the heal will finish him off. Decent physical damage there. May need to grave to protect himself. And meanwhile, quick reactions from Chuan.
Moo's just unstoppable. He picked up a Sky now. He's got 2.6k plus HP. Ages still for another minute. Time to...
And this is high ground. They've got the Wraith King down. They can force out the buyback. They're in position for the jump forward. Hal going deep. He does not find the change, though. Now he's going to have to Manta. Looks to back away. The BKB comes from Luo, and Hal just casually skirts back. Even with that Diffusal Blade, yet to use a charge in this fight, and he may die to the Requiem damage. No, ends up going down afterwards. And now the turn. Walls there, Tule engaging deep behind enemy lines. They're fighting and farming IG heroes deep inside their base, but perhaps a bit too deep, as Tule will be the next sacrifice. They've hardly even scratched the tower. Now they've got to get the hell out. That was a bit cocky. It might be punished. Blink forward. Move, trying to fight Rabbit, but the ult's up again. They can fight into this perhaps. Ice Blast coin out in 10 seconds time. 430 arrives. No ultimate available though. Already committed round 2 for the Wraith King, and maybe it's Newbee who evaded an IG in the end. They'll pummel Rabbit, drive him back. They want 430 next. Vroom, vroom. Back to the well if they can lock him down. The chains were cooling down, however, so he does get away, at least for now. Sleight of Fist attempted. No chains to follow it up. And Newbee, despite lacking their precious darks here, continue the onslaught.
That was discipline from Hao. He could have gone for another Fire Remnant forward there if he really wanted to, but didn't have the Manta up, didn't have a Fire Remnant to escape with.
Sean with the quick zap. By the way, he did steal Requiem of Souls. Haven't seen him opportunity using it, but now he finds it. Turns on Moo. He'll pop him and explode in a cloud of souls. Well played, and even managed to steal a regular raise there right before going down. So they get 2 of the big cores. Most importantly, they get the Shadow Fiend, and they hold the base.
Chuan
Newbee getting too big for their britches.
Yeah, Chuan with that Requiem steal just pushes back the Newbee push. You don't kill the SF without that Telekinesis Requiem, and IG would have likely lost at least a range racks, maybe melee racks instead if they'd focus it down. Still a very costly hold, and I feel even though IG hold, Newbee are the ones in the driver's seat, it was a net worth gain for Newbee, I'm sure, with what, triple buyback being
double
used on the dive side?
Yeah, the Wraith King as well as the Brood.
And that's a Wraith King buyback is a really big deal. He's the hero you need to see item progression on. The Brood as well, with the new fighting style of Brood, benefits a lot from items, and right now Luo is feeling very underfarmed when he's fighting the Shadow Fiend, even fighting the Ember Spirit, so I don't feel like that was an adequate hold from IG.
And now Chizbug BKB picked up. Chuan's going to start looking to swag as he will complete an Aghanim Scepter. So, as far as big Ags ults, technically the Spirit Breaker ult, but more importantly, I guess your Dazzle ult, if you can grab it, and the Darkseer wall would be the main one. Sadly, no Shadow Fiend Ags.
And there just doesn't seem to be like a lot of spells being spammed up by Newbee. Often you see this like Ags, Rubik, it's like the ultimate is always great, but on top of that you want to have just stuff like Fissures, Light Strike Arrays, lots of spells being thrown, and that just doesn't feel like what Newbee are going to be doing in a fight as much. Like the Ember, like stealing Ember spells aren't going to do a whole lot as a Rubik. Dazzle.
Come on, you don't believe in Chuan with his karate sleight of fist?
He could slide a fist, but there's no searing chains to go with it.
It's like sleight of twig.
Yep.
There's no fist with a Rubik. He's got puny little paws. A big staff, but nothing to smack with.
And it looks like Newbee even going for another high ground attempt here at top.
They dove pretty far. Like, it definitely felt like they could have slow sieged that, just taken the racks for free, but they wanted some swag and some kills along the way.
430 has got buyback for this fight. He may be the one who has to kind of sacrifice his life for the hold if Newbee go for a high ground push. Although Newbee at the same time, no Roche is coming up in the next 3 minutes, so maybe a bit of a reckless time to go for any kind of a high ground play. Quite a long Roche respawn though, 2.5 minutes.
430 trying his best to slow down this push that may be coming as Moo closes in on his next item. Now the Ember and the Shadow Fiend, the 2 most farmed heroes in the game, they start to draw some circles around the Roche pit, and in fact it is around that time when the Roche could have respawned. So we'll see Moo march towards the pit, debating if he wants his next item yet. He's going to hang on to his gold, but this does give super time, Godz, and he at long last will get the Aghanim Scepter on the Ancient Apparition. Could be the item, just maybe, that turns this game around.
Yep. It's, I guess, a nice little upgrade, but it doesn't feel like a game where it's going to have like a massive impact as far as their ability to hold onto the high ground. With Mu, it's less about having like a long Ice Blast duration, but more about needing more damage to chop through all his 3k HP.
No, he's got evasion out, and they've just smoked. They run up the hill, Sleight of Fist comes through, super TPing out. Looks like he will dodge the bullet.
Whoa. That was a
Close call there.
Sick spot to be in. Scouts the entire smoke play and gets down a nice aggressive ward, which has not been scouted just yet. There's a sentry on top of it, but they haven't got the high ground vision.
Surprisingly, no gem on Newbee either.
Yeah.
38 minutes in. Did they have one that they... Oh, hold that thought. Rabbit smoked, and he's ready to engage. Could leap forward. That ward about to get them vision, but moves quick on the BKB draw. Now getting thrown up in the air as he tries to hang on through the Ice Blast. Needs to get that Requiem off. Will do so. The entire enemy squad. Now the Sleight of Fist coming through Luo. BKB quickly wearing off, though. Hal gets stunned. Trapped. Focus. Manta looks to run. Remnants here and there. Stays alive and looks to turn. Now Banana with the TP out. They're going to slow down Rabbit. He still gets off the stun. The burn damage will take him down, but the Wraith King already expended. He will die a second time. And that is a real death. Mu standing strong and just the hero that nobody can deal with. The Shadow View of the BKB Requiem just does too much in the fights.
Yeah, and he kind of held on to the BKB long enough to hit the Brood as well. Like, waited for the Brood to BKB, then Requiem, so Brood's damage output gets dealt with partially through the minus physical damage. And, well, this is going to be a tough Roche contest for IG if Newbee want to make a play for it. It looks like they may want to wait out some of their ultimates. They've still got no Requiem, no Wall, and Dazzle on the sidelines. But with Gem online, they will control the map for now.
Tule, I believe, just picked that up.
Yeah, I think...
Courtesy of Chizbug.
Yeah, I think I saw the pickup right before that fight broke out, just coming on the courier.
Now Hao is going to transition into a Blink Dagger, something we saw a lot of from maybe at TI5, but as of late, most members have been opting to skip the Blink and just go straight into damage, so it's interesting to see the slight variations in the way these players like to itemize their embers. And, well, speaking of which, jumps onto two heroes. Hal, balls of steel, and gonna pay for it! Chuan styles all over him with the stolen Requiem. He's like, what is wrong with you, buddy?
Yep.
Get the hell off of me. Space created Godz. They got the Aegis in
Yeah,
the
I was just about to talk, like, okay, Blink allows you to make plays like that happen, except when Chuan's in the game, because the idea is you have the Blink to engage, and you already have the Fire Remnant really far away, because if you Fire Remnant engage, you've got no escape, or you have to your Fire Remnant to escape is really close by. So right now, Ember, like, I guess he hadn't, maybe his SF hadn't reported that Chuan stole the ultimate, because that must have been just like some missing info that Hao didn't have, because otherwise that play is perfectly fine. You get a kill, you get out. That's what the Blink Dagger is for, is finding those kind of pickoffs. But he gets punished.
That presence of mind from Chuan just left into an instant Requiem. You cannot deny Chuan's individual skill.
Oh, man.
His track record as a member of teams has not been the best over the past year or so, but his individual play, he has those just insane individual moments.
Chuan has kept IG in this game. First the Requiem at top killing the SF, now that Requiem there. If not for these Rubik plays. And I looked at the Axe and I was like, it's like an okay Axe game for Rubik, but it's not been about sealing lots of spells. It's all about being sealing just the Requiem.
They're going to charge bottom. 430, one more wave. Maybe his downfall, and he does stick around for that extra wave. Has the BKB, gets bashed, and now another strike back, and that one extra bash, all that's required to get the kill.
Cruel, cruel, cruel.
Meanwhile, Mu has a butterfly. Sure, Hao's getting a little sloppy here down the stretch, but at the same time, Mu has been basically perfect on the Shadow Fiend, aside from... I wouldn't even call it a mistake when he died to the Rubik. That was just a crazy fight.
Yeah.
Chuan threatening.
Reminding them.
Hey, I got some plays
Oh,
available.
he's going again.
Bam! Half his health. But BKBs, he's still got an Aegis. Yeah, Chuan, that was cute. Let me show you what Big Daddy Shadow Fiend's all about. This is how a Requiem looks, although he may lose his first life here. Mu getting focused, but will be Grave, kept alive. Luo's BKB gonna wear out and chunked down as soon as it will end. Finished off in the end by Hao, who gets the cleanup kills. 2, to be exact. Meanwhile, diving towards Rabbit, 4 heroes dead. It's about to be 5, and it will be game. Newbee, too strong, too fat. IG tried to play the farm game, but Newbee just did it better.
Yeah, Chuan didn't have long left on the Requiem, so he just went for it as early as possible. And knowing SF has no Satanic, he's not going to be able to heal up the damage, but the rest of IG just they've been crippled too much. It was the top defense where they had to chew through buybacks on the Brood as well as Wraith King. Nobody's kept up in farm with Moo, and it's very much just too fat to fail at this point as far as the newbie carries go, despite some great individual plays coming out from Twan.
I really like the way Newbee laned this game, the adjustments they made early. I thought they did a good job of using the Darkseer's jungle potential. He had a level 5.5 at like sub 5 minutes, while also helping the bottom lane. Spiritbreaker didn't feed against the tri lane. They warded well to spot Chuan's rotations. Ember did extremely well in the laning stage for Hao against the Broodmother. And then from there, a back and forth mid game. IG had that big Roche sneak, but I felt like the laning stage was the key for Newbee. They did not let Brood get totally out of hand.
No, Brood didn't snowball this game. IG went kind of greedy with the triple minus, although it seemed to be working okay when they secured Roche and all that. But at no point did it really feel like they had an answer to Shadow Fiend in this game, as well as Ember Spirit. They didn't have that extra bit of lockdown which they needed. And I think, like, if they got to a late game scenario where Queen of Pain had a Hex, Wraith King has the Abyssal Blade plus Moonshard type build, then IG had a chance, but Newbee just hit their strat at the right time. That second Roshan, then they put the pressure on, and IG's just like, we don't have time to farm these late game items.
I just can't believe a Darkseer got through to 5th pick either.
Yeah,
especially when you're running Brood, and there's an Ember on the enemy team. That, to me, was just crazy.
Yeah, Too Late played well. I mean, everyone on the Newbee side had a really solid game, I'd say, all in all, and yeah, it worked out well. Game 1 goes their way. It seems they've still got IG's number, continuing their streak from the Frankfurt Mages.
All right, let's see if IG has anything to say about it, guys. Game 2 coming up next. You're watching the Summit for China, our opening day of action. 2 of these teams, well, of the 8 teams in the qualifier, will be coming here to LAN in Los Angeles. Stick around. We'll be back for Game 2.